What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Zero Lab. Today we're taking a look at another Pokemon TCG Pocket deck. And the deck we're looking at today is Arbok-Weezing. Arbok-Weezing is a very strong one-prize centric deck. No EXs in here. That means our opponent is going to have to take 3 knockouts to win the game. And both of these Pokemon have really strong attacks, and Weezing obviously has a very strong ability. Both of them dark types, so a lot of synergy going on here. Taking a look at the Arbok first, it has 100 HP on a stage 1, and it has the corner attack that does 60 damage for 2 energies. And it says during your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't retreat. Retreating is a pretty big thing in TCG Pocket. You can retreat out of a Pokemon using X speeds and those sorts of things to, there's a lot of two-shotting in the game, so I hit into a Pokemon, my opponent wants to retreat that Pokemon so I don't hit into it again, and they choose to attack with something else. So corner trapping your opponent's Pokemon is a very strong effect. You'll also notice that corner does two-shot Pikachu EX and does not, and Arbok has 100 HP, so without a Giovanni, the Pikachu EX cannot one-shot us in return. So that is really cool, given that Pikachu EX is the strongest deck in the game right now. But pairing that with the Weezing with that gas leak ability once during your opponent's turn, or once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may make your opponent's active Pokemon poisoned and then the tackle attack for 30 damage. Combine the Weezing with Koga. Koga says put your Muck or Weezing in the active spot into your hand so the Weezing can tank some damage and then be scooped up with that Koga supporter card, heal off all that damage, and just go either into Arbok or into another Weezing. So Arbok keeps your opponent's Pokemon from retreating. The only way to get out of poison is to evolve out of it or to retreat out of it. Once you retreat from the active spot, the poison goes away, but Arbok can corner your opponent and keep that poison on them as well to take away and do even more damage. So we have a 2-2 Arbok line in here, a 2-2 Weezing line in here, 2 potions, 2 X speeds, 2 Pokeballs, 2 research, 2 Koga, a Giovanni, and a Sabrina. So that is what rounds out the deck list here. And we're just going to go into some battles. We do have the Genetic Apex Emblem event going on right now. So we're going to play in event matches to see if we can progress towards our rewards instead of just playing in random matches. So we're going to play in event matches with this deck and see how we can do. Searching for our first opponent here, and we have found them. And we'll see what we are playing against. Flipping the coin here, it looks like we are going second. And starting out with that Ekans, we have Pokeball and double research in hand. That is great. Ekans has that bite attack and does 20. And our opponent just concedes right away. We'll take that win for the Emblem event. Why not? All right, we're going to go into another battle, see if we can get an actual battle going. Second opponent found, and here we go. They've got that level 1 emblem already, as do we, but we're trying to get that gold emblem by the end of this event. Flip heads this time, so we are going first. That is all right, because we do need to evolve, but sadly we're starting our Ekans and not coughing, so we do have the Weezing evolution in hand. Looks like we're playing against Articuno. So obviously that can be a tough matchup, especially if they hit a bunch of heads on Misty. So we'll see what our opponent is able to put together on their first turn. We definitely need to be drawing into our Coughings, into our Arboks, those sorts of things. Sadly, our hand is not looking too great right now, and they've got the research going, but at least it was not a Misty, so they can't take a knockout this turn. And a red card. That is so great. Our hand was terrible. I am happy to see that red card. That draws us into our Coughing, into another Pokeball, and into a Potion. That's a much better hand than we had before. Now we just need to still find our evolutions. We draw into the Koga. We're going to bench the Coughing here. We're going to attach to Arbok. We're going to Pokeball and get the second Coughing out of our deck. We have Potion. Potion's not going to help us too much against a double Ice Wing unless we can draw into the Arbok. So we're just going to bite here and hope we draw into either a Weezing or an Arbok. but we definitely need to get some damage coming down onto this Articuno EX, since they are going to be able to Blizzard on their next turn. Tentacruel evolution into play for our opponent. It's got the Poison Tentacles, attack for 2 energy, does 50, and leaves us poisoned. Here's our opponent's Misty. We need them to definitely flip tails on this. And there it is. Never punished. So an Ice Wind going to come down from our opponent here onto our Ekans. And we'll see if we can draw into something good. There is our Weezing. That is exactly what we needed on this turn. Weezing coming into play. Attach for turn onto the Weezing. Retreat out of the Ekans. Promote the Weezing. And then we're going to Gas Leak. And a tackle coming down here is going to put our opponent's Articuno at 80 HP remaining after that poison. So putting us in a pretty good spot. Obviously the Blizzard attack will be doing bench damage on that Ekans. We do have the potion in hand to give it a few heals. Our opponent playing the X speed. Curious if they're just thinning their hand. There's no reason for them to retreat out of this Articuno here. Most likely they do have the Lapras EX as well in this deck. And we'll see if we're just going to get a Blizzard here. Misty, a second Misty. Can they flip tails again? Let's go. Come on. 1 heads. 1 tails. All right, that is all right for us. They get the Blizzard here. That obviously does some bench damage, but we have the Koga in hand. Just pick up this Weezing, and then we've got the potion to heal our benched Ekans as well. So we're going to attach return onto the benched Coughing. We're going to play Koga, pick up our other Weezing and the Coughing. Promote the Coughing, evolve into Weezing, bench Coughing. We already have them poisoned, so we're just going to tackle. Do another 40 with the poison, and we should be able to get the knockout on this Articuno next turn unless they choose to retreat out of it. If they do retreat out of it, though, they won't be attacking this turn. That is very good for us. They've played both of their Misties. We definitely want to start drawing into our Arbok. Those are what do a little bit more damage against our opponent. And once they get that Lapras going, it's doing a lot of damage to us and healing itself each time it attacks. So that is definitely difficult for us to get through if we're not doing that extra damage with having it poisoned plus cornering it with the Arbok. Waiting to see what our opponent does here. Attach for turn, coming down onto the Lapras. And retreating out of that Articuno. So they are not attacking this turn. That puts us in an alright position, I think, as long as we can start drawing into our Arbok. And we top deck the Research. That is super good for us to start drawing cards out of our deck. Give us an Arbok. No Arbok, but we did get another Research. I'm going to play that Pokeball just to thin it out of our deck. We don't want... yeah, we don't want that. If they red card us, we don't want to draw into that again. We're going to Gas Leak this Lapras, and then just tackle it. So we are doing 40 damage to it. It does heal 20 damage each time it attacks. So that Bubble Drain attack is really good, and it's going to be difficult for us to get through that. Thankfully, the Bubble Drain does two-shot everything that we are attacking with, as long as we can evolve up into our Arbok and that sort of stuff. We do have 8 cards left in deck. We have a Research in hand, so I'm hoping that we can draw either into a Koga here or an Arbok. Sabrina is what we draw into. We want to save that for later. Draw into X-Speed and Koga. No Arbok yet, but 2 of the 5 cards in there are Arboks. So We have them poisoned already, don't need to gas leak. We're just going to tackle, but chipping away very slowly at this Lapras. And it is going to heal, like I said, 20 each time that it attacks. So we need to be drawing, we need to at least draw into Weezing next turn, if not our Arbok. But Weezing would be cool because we have the Koga, so we can tank another couple hits. Yeah, definitely in a difficult spot here with all this healing they have. They have the potion, they have the bubble drain doing healing as well. There goes our first Pokemon down. We have the X speeds in hand, so I'm just going to send up the coughing because it doesn't really matter. We're going to be able to free retreat out into whatever we want to. No, that is not good. I think we have to Sabrina here. I'm just trying to weigh our options. So if we Sabrina, we could potentially trap that Tentacruel. They've played 1 X speed. They probably play 2, and then it's just attached for turn retreat. Yeah. I think we're just going to have to Suffocating Gas here onto the Lapras EX and hope for the best. But yeah, definitely rough for us. Don't think we win this one now. We have 4 cards left in deck, and 3 of them are evolutions. That is just rough, man. I cannot wait for TCG Pocket to get a little bit of evolution search. I just think that would be very good for the game. Bubble Drain going to KO our coughing. This is not what we needed to happen. Throw up Ekans here. There's the Arbok finally. Alright, what can we do? So we have corner gonna do 60. It's not enough. You just have to Sabrina here. I don't think we can win this one, to be honest with you, sadly. But we're gonna do our best. Alright, they give us the Lapras. Sadly, we don't play a second Sabrina. Which means we can't bring up that Tentacruel. And they may have been fine giving us the Articuno, because if they had just a Giovanni in hand, they are doing 90 to our Arbok with the Lapras. So no win in it for us here, but we'll just let our opponent play it out. They've got the Giovanni, but they do not. We're going to concede. There was just no way for us to win that game. Unfortunately, just some rough draws in the latter half of that game. When we needed an evolution, we could not find it. If we had just drawn into Arbok or Weezing there, we would have been fine, and we drew into neither. We're going to go into a second battle here with Arbok-Weezing and hope we draw a little bit better. That is just the name of the game sometimes with TCG Pocket. When you're playing an evolution deck, if you don't draw into those evolutions, since there's no way to search them out, you're in a tough spot. And our odds there of hitting any evolution was very high. And sometimes that just happens. We have a great starting hand here, though. Double coughing with the Weezing evolution already in hand. Going second, have the research, have the X speed, going up against Pikachu EX. And we are going to see what we can do against the best deck in format with this Arbok-Weezing deck. We're going to Pokeball first to get the Ekans. Bench the Ekans, bench the coughing, play research. Get the second Ekans and a second research. That is nice. We're going to just Suffocating Gas onto this Pikachu. They cannot attack us next turn, which is great. Obviously, cannot attach an energy on the first turn going first in TCG Pocket. Otherwise, they could potentially be circle circuiting us in this turn, and that would be rough. Our opponent with an enormous hand right now. Voltorb coming down onto our opponent's side of the field. Attach return to the Voltorb is weird. Imagine you want to be powering up your best attacker for sure. X speed to retreat out of the Pikachu. We're going to attack with the Voltorb into our Coughing, doing 20 damage. So I guess that does set up the math for Circle Circuit to knock out Weezing later in the game. But we do have the potion if we were worried about that, which I don't think we're too worried about it. We're going to attach return to one of our Ekans. We're going to play Research. There is our second Weezing. We've got a Koga in hand. Now we just need to find our Arbok. So we're going to Gas Leak this Voltorb. Tackle it for 30. And we'll see what our opponent does on their turn. Again, they have a huge hand. I would imagine they have the Electrode in that hand. Another Voltorb coming down. Attachment for turn, probably coming onto the active Voltorb if they have Electrode. Or potentially just starting to set up that Pikachu. Yep, there's the attach for turn onto the Pikachu. We're just going to get another Tackle from this Voltorb. Actually, no, retreating out of that Voltorb into the other Voltorb. And no attack there. Alright. Sadly, no Arbok yet. We are going to just potion this Weezing. I see what they're trying to do. Potion saves us from that that move they were trying to pull off. They were retreating out of the other Voltorb. They had assumed that they had already done enough damage, and there's the concession from our opponent. Yeah, they had assumed that they had done enough damage to one-shot the Weezing with their Pikachu EX on the following turn, but with that potion, we were able to heal off that damage and put them in a bad spot. Send a thanks to our opponent, and we'll just hop into one more match here with Arbok-Weezing and keep showing off this cool one-prize deck in Pokemon TCG Pocket. Let's see what our next opponent is playing with. We are going second here. And we're starting Ekans. We have Pokeball in hand. Opponent has a massive board. Voltorbs galore and a Pikachu. Hopefully we can draw into some good evolutions. There is the Pikachu EX. Obviously, again, we're going second, so no attachment return for our opponent, which is nice. Pokeball hopefully finds us a Coughing. But no, it finds us the other Ekans. So it's just going to be a bite here. May not be drawn very well in this game, sadly. Definitely need to find our evolutions and our researches and all that good stuff that is hiding away in our deck right now. There's the Electrode coming down from our opponent. Potion to heal off the damage we did last turn. Setting up that energy on the Pikachu EX on the bench. Drawing into Koga. That does nothing cool for us, sadly. The Electrode does have retreat, so we're going to Sabrina. They probably just send up the Pikachu here. Yeah, we are in trouble. The Snake deck not being very good to us today. Circle Circuit going to take a knockout on this Ekans, and subsequently another knockout on our benched Ekans. We're not able to draw into that Arbok. Drawing to Coughing, so we're still alive for now. But definitely, yeah, not looking good. The Bite gonna do another 20 to that Pikachu. But we're gonna have to top deck Weezing, or wait to find Weezing. They're gonna bring up our Coughing. Now we need to top deck Arbok. Let's see what we can draw. Pokeball, that's not going to do it, and we're just going to concede from there. So unfortunate draws in that final game. Yeah, I don't think that's super representative of how good this Arbok-Weezing deck can be. But that is TCG Pocket. When you're not drawing into your evolutions and you're playing an evolution deck, you're definitely losing. And that is why Pikachu EX is the best deck in the game right now. Not too worried about those evolutions, just going fast and hitting for 90 every turn with that Circle Circuit. I do think we need some evolution support in this game to help us out against those basic EX decks. But yeah, this Arbok-Weezing deck is very fun. Didn't quite get there with it today in as many matchups as we would have liked, but hopefully you found this video fun, exciting, helpful. And if you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.